Hello, everybody. Welcome to TubeTalk Live, which is essentially a mix between a podcast, a live stream, a fireside chat, where together with the vidIQ crew, we look at your burning question or an issue that you have been flagging with us this entire week, and we want to address that. And that's what we're going to do today. We're first going to have a chat, and then we're going to head over to the questions from you guys all hanging out in the chat. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us on yet another live vidIQ training session. So, as I said, I'm not doing this by myself. I've got the vidIQ crew with me. And today we have Mr. Dan, who is a gaming master and YouTube expert all around. Hello, Mr. Dan.
Hello.
Okay, that was a great intro, Dan. Hello. Okay, awesome. And then we also have Alexi, who is actually a long-time listener, first-time caller. He's out here on the stream with us. He is our coaching and channel auditor who loves to analyze data. You have no idea. Alexi, welcome to the stream.
Hi, guys.
Okay, we have to work on your intro. Everybody, seriously, hello is just not a good intro. Okay, well, fair enough. But where we stand today, so let me ask everybody a question quickly in the chat and people listening. What if I can tell you right now which videos are going to do really, really well? Would you go ahead and make that video? Most people, I think, would say yes. And that is what today's topic is all about, is understanding that you can actually be proactive on YouTube so you know what's going to work and take those steps today. So, gentlemen, hanging out here in this wonderful forum of ours. Dan, let me start with you. We keep hearing that YouTube is a search engine, and we keep hearing that if you know how to work that search engine, you're going to get more eyeballs, more attention on your videos than those who are just randomly throwing stuff out there. What say you about YouTube being a search engine?
Yeah, we've heard for a long time that YouTube is used second to Google, and I don't exactly know the metrics on all that, but I do know from my own experience that I use YouTube quite a bit, and it really depends on if I'm trying to ask a question and I need a visual example, or if I just need to know something real quick, like what's somebody's birthday or something like that, and that kind of dictates my decision. So yeah, YouTube as a search engine is that when I'm looking for just something real quick that, you know, everything I just said. I lost my train of thought there for a minute.
No, that's the idea. I mean, the idea is that YouTube being the world's second largest search engine, the fact that it's owned by Google, which is the world's #1 search engine, you got to know that the two are working together. So, Alexi, have you seen any examples where people do a search on YouTube or on Google, and it just pulls out metadata and pulls out videos from YouTube?
Yeah, absolutely. Not just videos, but you can search for something and you can see exactly the moment when this specific video is talking about this specific point. That's how smart Google is, because they are transcribing your videos. So yes.
All right, so it's there. So we know that YouTube being the search engine, we always hear the difference, and I speak about this often, about the difference between a browse strategy and a search strategy. Let's tackle the search engine and this kind of theory first. Who should be using search strategy versus who should be using a browse strategy, perhaps? Let's define what each one of those mean. Who wants to tackle that one first? Okay, I'll jump into that then. Whenever I teach YouTube, I say, look, if you're a small creator and you're just trying to understand what are other people searching for, if you can get your videos to rank, to be brought up by YouTube when somebody's searching for a specific topic, that is when you're going to get those initial eyeballs. Remember, smaller channels, YouTube doesn't hate the smaller channels. It just doesn't have enough data about smaller channels yet. And therefore, it's not able to recommend your videos when somebody's searching for a specific topic. However, if you've been on any of my Wednesday webinars, shameless plug right there, but if you've been on any of them, you know that we have something called the alphabet walkthrough, where we use YouTube's own search bar to really understand what people are currently searching for. If you make videos that line up exactly with what people are searching for on YouTube, odds are so much better that YouTube will actually marry up your video to that search phrase. Why? Because YouTube is the world's second largest search engine. And when people are searching for something, you want your videos essentially to come up. So that is a search strategy. The browse strategy, and I think it's good to kind of define the difference. A browse strategy is when you're saying, look, YouTube search is nice, but what I'm going for is I want a punchy title, which has got nothing to do with the search. I want a great thumbnail, nothing to do with the search, because I want to appear on people's home pages. So when they log into YouTube, they're going to their main page, and all of a sudden your videos are there. And because you've got a killer thumbnail and a killer title, well, people are going to click on it. So the two slightly different strategies, search versus browse. Search is great for smaller channels who maybe don't have the history, don't have the data for YouTube to yet use. And then browse is for those who are slightly bigger channel, have got an audience. YouTube has lots of data on them, and now YouTube knows who's going to watch, that type of content. So those are kind of the two different things. But today we said, well, what happens if we can predict what's going to come out? What if we can predict what people will search for? And this is why it was important to start with the search. We have something that in the industry, we call it a tentpole event. So Dan, what is a tentpole event? Let's define that.
That would be something you could rely on year after year. I mean, it could be anything that is, I think mostly holidays is what we kind of think about. So if you were to look at a graph, the word tentpole is kind of coming from this. If you were to look at a graph, it would look like a flat line, and then there's a spike, and then nothing, and then spike, and then nothing, every year after year, or time period after time period. So it's super important, and it's awesome because it always ends up driving a bunch of search inevitably.
Yeah, completely. So a tentpole is something that you know is going to hit year after year after year, and it has done since Google Analytics has started, or since they've made those available to us back in the old Classic and on Google Trends. It's something that every single year it's going to hit. So like examples of those could be upcoming holidays, or vacations, or well-known country-specific topics that people are going to be hitting. The obvious ones are things like Christmas, New Year, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And then that's kind of the US, the Black Friday and Thanksgiving, although it has been kind of worldwide a little bit as well. Halloween is another example. Those are events that you know ahead of time that people are going to search for them, that they are going to pop, because every single year since, 2005, I think it was, it's that started to keep those records. As Dan says, it kind of goes, and then Halloween, gunk. Okay, so it looks like it's a pole holding up a tent, which is how they came up with the phrase tentpole events. So now that we know that, Alexi, how does one as a creator, knowing that a certain event is going to hit, okay, that's interesting, what do we do about it?
Prepare videos, right? And probably a couple of months in advance. We know for a fact that big brands, well, we know it for a fact because we worked with them, they prepare videos in like 2 months in advance, for example, because they know that in 2 months, something big is coming up, and it doesn't have to be necessarily something like Father's Day or Black Friday. It can be like a big sports event, right? I mean, soccer or football World Cup happens every 4 years. Like that's a tentpole event just as much as Christmas, right? So, or just racing, like NASCAR racing or Formula One, right? All of those events are also tentpole events, especially the big races. And what those brands do, they prepare a ton of material, and then they trickle down some of those videos in the upcoming weeks before the event. And then, of course, they make a big blast, a big splash during the event. So it can happen sometimes that a brand, and again, I'm saying brand, but you can be a normal person, like literally just a normal small YouTube creator, and you can blast a bunch of videos on the release day, right? Whether it's, let's say you're reviewing a big product like iPhone 12 is coming out. You can release 5 videos on the same day covering different features, etc., etc. And then even after the release, a couple of days after, you can still release new videos like with new opinions. Hey, I've tried this thing for a couple of days. Here's my final opinion. And 2 days later, here's my second final opinion. Like there are limitless ways to leverage this, right? But yeah. This is kind of like the basic strategy.
Okay, so I like it. So the idea is that when we say tentpole events, let's not think of them as only those kind of calendar events that we know that are going to be year after year after year. We also got to look at your own niche, your own industry. What's going on? So I'm in the tech world. So as Alexi says, the iPhone came out. You know there's a date. It's coming out at a certain date. You could make a video now saying, what do I think? What am I expecting to see from the new iPhone 12, as an example? So you can already start to prepare your content of library, library content. You know what I mean? You can prepare your videos ahead of time. Say, I know this event is here. I'm going to release a video a week before saying what I expect. I'll then release a video on the launch day saying, hey, were my expectations met? I could then release a video afterwards saying, I've got my hands on a review unit. I've now used it. Here is what I think of it. And then another one, which typically a lot of tech will do this, why I love the iPhone, or why I hate the iPhone, why I'm returning the iPhone. So you see how one event has actually got a spin-off of lots and lots of content that rolls around it. But because you know that event is coming up, it gives you lots and lots of time to prepare so that you start thinking ahead of time. Dan, let's swing it around to the gaming world. Give us some gaming world examples that we should be looking at if we're in that gaming niche.
Gaming, I mean, it obviously depends on the game you're playing. For example, I'll just use Minecraft as an example. That's kind of the space I'm in. You can count on them having an event every year around Minecraft. But it started with a thing called Minecon, which was a physical event you would attend. And from there, before the pandemic, they actually became like an online gathering. So year after year, this is something they do. And that coincides with a lot of updates, a lot of news. So I actually tried to cover that when they did, a big event around it. And then outside of just the tentpole things you can depend on, when the game is going to have an update, usually you know that ahead of time. And you can cover that update as well.
So I guess what everybody's kind of saying in our own way is that it's about being prepared. A lot of YouTubers that we've seen that are really struggling to get those views tend to be very reactionary. Something has happened already, and now you're trying to ride the tail end of it. And I'm not using it just because Dan's got a cat going across his desk. Okay, just for the record, it is a cat. So people are using the tail end of an event to try leverage those views. But by then, it almost is a little bit late. It's a little bit stale. Everybody has already spoken about something. So the big question to everyone listening and everyone hanging out here in the chat is, well, what's coming up? What do you know today that is actually going to happen in your country? And it doesn't necessarily just have to be a Thanksgiving, which is a US thing, so you have to jump on a US trend. What's happening in your country? Alexi mentioned football. Yeah, in the UK, Europe, football is much bigger than it is, and soccer. I mean, football. You know what I mean. So it's all of those little things that are country specific. Those are the ones that are really, really going to give you that being ahead of that game. Understanding today what is going to be a tentpole event. The question to you is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to wait and then react it and say, oh, I should have, would have, could have? Or could you look back at last year? What did people do last year around this event? Could that spark some ideas? Guys, Alexi and Dan, any tips that you can give, or maybe something that you've used yourselves of how to find those leverage those tentpole events? How can you get ideas for those?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I know we have a bunch of gamers in the chat, Call of Duty, Fortnite. Even for those games, like every time a new season starts in Fortnite, that's a tentpole event, right? Every time Call of Duty drops a new patch, this could be spun as a tentpole event if you want to, right? So that's the thing. Now, how do you prepare, or how do you take advantage? Basically, look into a community, right? What are people speculating about? Literally, there was a announcement quite recently, like a month ago, in the Smash Brothers, not the Smash Brothers, but Smash Bros. Video game, the Nintendo one. And basically, they announced a new character, Minecraft Steve. And I know for a fact that there is a creator who is part of our coaching program. He basically did a lot of videos speculating about the next character in this video game. and he happened to predict the character before the event happened. So guess what? When the event actually happened and everyone started talking, wow, Minecraft Steve gonna appear in Smash Bros., his video was already up there like a couple of days ago, right? Because he was anticipating this announcement and he followed the community. He knew what people were thinking, who could be in the game next, etc., etc. So just an easy win. And for him, like, this video literally was getting like 10,000 views per hour at some point. Like, that's how crazy it can get in terms of velocity as well.
Can I jump on that real quick too?
Absolutely.
That speaks to something we give advice about quite a bit too, and that is like having a niche, right? And being committed to it. And especially in gaming, a lot of new channels are like, well, I want to play lots of games. But the reason that person that you just described had success is because they are fully focused on their niche, not just making videos on it, but understanding all the news around it, understanding the community. And that is where a lot of success derives from. So you can follow trends and everything else, but if you're trying to focus on 10 different games and 10 different potential trends, you're not going to have that kind of success that person had because you're not giving it your full attention.
Again, it's all about the viewer. If you understand who your viewer is, then you know where they hang out. Are they on Reddit? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Twitter? Where do they hang out? And you should be hanging out there, because all you're doing at that stage, you're listening and you're watching what's going on. And if people are currently upset or happy about a specific topic, that's a great indicator for you to actually put your thoughts on video. Because a lot of people don't have a YouTube channel. They're very happy to go on social media, make a quick TikTok or make a quick Instagram and say, look, I'm really upset that Apple didn't include blah, blah, blah. Or I'm really excited to have a new character in this game. What do you guys think? And there's a conversation that goes on there. Go and watch that conversation. Could you take that information and now create an entire content around it? One of the big things that I think a lot of people are scared of is, what happens if I'm wrong? What happens if it's not Steve, but George? Or maybe they didn't bring a new character, but they created a new background or a new map. How does that impact my audience? And will they trust me again? What do you guys say about if you're trying to come up with a topic and perhaps you're not 100% sure, should you rather not do it? Or is it still okay to be a little bit unsure and say, hey, I'm not so sure this is going to work, but this is what I think?
Honesty is the best policy, I would say. I mean, if you don't know, say you can make the title, hey, could Minecraft Steve be in the new Smash Bros. Update? And you sitting there in the thumbnail, but when you're in the video, you're like, look, now I don't work for Nintendo, but I think Minecraft Steve could be in the next, and it's all about honesty.
I think another thing is, I think another thing is also, you're not telling people to put money on it, right? It's not like a prediction. So, I mean, everyone is free to speculate, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're not, as long as you're not selling yourself or your channel as some kind of a, you have a crystal ball here in front of you. Like, everything is pretty much up for grabs in terms of topics, in my opinion.
Well, one of the things that we'll see a lot in the technology world is people are always, they like to report on leaks, and we have more leaks than ever before. People are showing renders of a new phone or a new device and what kind of features it's got. Those channels are doing ridiculously well, even when they don't get it right, and that's perfectly okay, because people are hungry for that information. And again, bringing it back to our topic, it revolves around a specific event. Something is happening. What am I going to do leading up to that event? What am I going to do post the event? So right now, brands use something called a social media calendar. So they take out the 12 months and they immediately start highlighting every single month the day where there is something that's social media worthy. And it could be National Donuts Day. It could be National Adopt a Cat Day. It could be the Black Fridays. It could be the Halloweens of the world. But they map everything out. And then they ask themselves, well, can our brand do anything around those? And I say the same thing should happen with YouTubers. You know that in Valentine's Day is in February 14th. Just heads up, everyone knows that. February 14th, Valentine's Day. I know that today. So when I'm looking at 2021, I should already be planning content around Valentine's Day, and then make it according to your niche. As Dan says, the more niche you are, the easier it is to create your content. I'm in the technology game. Well, maybe I'm going to look at 5 gadgets to buy your other half on Valentine's Day. I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. But I should be. That's the idea. You needed to know that that's going to happen. Well, if it's going to happen, you have a choice. Do you let it pass you by, or do you get proactive and actually start making content? So, guys, it's all about not just on YouTube, because YouTube works as a search engine. YouTube is going to surface things that people are actively looking for. What about looking at hashtags on Twitter or looking at what's trending on other platforms? Any tips around using those to build up more content?
I did speak with a creator recently, not just myself, but a bunch of us from the coaching team. And this person basically swears on social media, especially TikTok, Instagram, these types of platforms, because yes, this is sometimes basically the breeding ground for trending topics. If you can take those trending topics on those platforms to YouTube and be one of the first people to do that, that's going to be huge for a channel. So absolutely.
Dan, you look like you were going to jump in there.
Yeah, I was just, me, I'm always thinking about it from the gaming side. And as somebody who gets most of my gaming news from YouTube, I struggle a little bit to imagine how I would personally do it. But then again, I'm also staying in tune with what's going on. Like, so if I'm following Minecraft, I'm already on their website. I'm already on places where they're giving me that news. But no, you guys are absolutely right, because plenty of niches out there could benefit from just being aware, not just on Twitter, but every social media platform. Let's say you're somebody who is an outdoor channel. You'd want to be following all the major players in that space, including the retailers and other people like that. And if there's a new gizmo or something that's helping people navigate their hikes in the mountains, then now you have a reason to talk about that, because people, maybe it just dropped. Maybe it was announced by some company and everyone's talking about it on social media. Now you're the first person to have a YouTube video because you're paying very close attention.
Okay, another pro ninja tip that I like to do is go find the brands that are active in that community, and then go to their website. You're going to look for something called media or press. Go look at that. Then there's usually an opportunity for you to enter your email address, and they will send you news, press articles, press releases about their product. The reason I like to do this, as much as we all hate spam, it's amazing to see how much information the company gives you, announcing things that are going to come up. Now, remember, if you're not going to be like everybody else and wait for it to be announced publicly first, you're going to get that news briefing. It gives you a little bit of a heads up to say, wow, can I create content around that? So get those news briefings ahead of time. A lot of times they even will have a media briefing. So it's under embargo. You sign a letter to say you're not going to release anything. They invite you to a hangout or a Zoom meeting with 50 other people where they talk about their upcoming products. Because remember, a brand's mission is to get that exposure. Your mission is to create amazing content, add value to your community, get those views, get those subscribers. So if you can be in those Zoom call out or the hangouts and really understand what the company is doing, it just gives you that extra leg up. So a little pro tip here, go and sign up for those newsletters. Most of it is going to be unusable unless you have a website or a blog where you can publish the stuff, but you will find those golden nuggets saying, wait, hold on, nobody's talking about this. Let me go see if my community even knows about it or they even care about it. And if they do, go ahead and make it. So company events are a big launch platform. Games announcing a new seasons, new characters, upcoming version of whatever. That's a good one. What about movies? Dan, are you a fan of the movies? If something's coming out, should we be looking at that? Is that a tentpole event?
Yeah, and what's interesting is, given the time period we're in, and movies, about to hit theaters and then suddenly pulled from release and all these things. If you're a channel that covers movie releases right now, you probably have a lot of work cut out for you, because you're keeping up with just those news updates alone. That's just a little bit of an aside. But if there's a movie coming out, I think a lot of channels, and I think we as creators might underestimate just how much of an impact we could have here, but I think a lot of channels could jump on a trend of a big blockbuster movie. So if there's an Avengers movie coming out, for example, but you're a cooking channel, you're probably not even paying much attention. However, what if you baked an Iron Man cake? You know what I mean? There's ways of subtle ways to stay within your topic, but also follow these trends. I use The Mandalorian as an example because I've seen so many channels try and like jump on that because now it's back, it's trending. I built Baby Yoda in Minecraft. I made Baby Yoda cupcakes. Like you can use movies and pop culture to make content around them and then try and get discovered just through people looking for all sorts of media, building up on the release, of this new film or TV show or what have you.
Okay, so taking what's trending or what's coming up, that tentpole event, and then essentially creating it content that is to do with your niche. Alexei, you speaking to clients, you going through channels, are you seeing clients actually doing that?
Yeah, quite a bit actually, and they are successful doing that as well. Again, it's not rocket science. If you know that a big gadget is coming out in your niche and you just keep pumping out content on this specific topic for like 3 months, it's gonna pick up. I think that those people who say that, well, I tried it, it didn't work for me, or like trends, I don't know, it doesn't work for my niche. Typically, this is the case when you're just too late to jump on that train, right? So if we speak about the tentpole and have this graph going up, people who say it didn't work for me typically try to get in at the top of the graph, but the people who are succeeding, they're getting in at the bottom, right? And then cruising to the top. So I guess that's probably the biggest difference between people who are succeeding and the people, again, I'm not talking only to successful people, everyone needs help, right? But yeah, those who succeed start here and then go to the top. Those who say, oh man, I tried trends, doesn't work, typically they enter either here or already at the end when it's kind of dwindling down.
Yeah, on its way out, and it's no longer exciting, and people have seen basically everything. I suppose Rob will be very proud of us for at this stage mentioning actually the vidIQ tool for a change, where we actually got something called the trend alerts. I love this tool. When you go into that tool, you say, okay, I'm interested in these keywords. Whenever someone speaks about these keywords and they get more than X number of views per hour, let me know. Now, when I get those emails coming in, I'm keeping an eye. Is something that used to get 100 views per hour is now getting 500 views per hour, 1,000 views per hour? Well, guess what? It's at that beginning of that climb. Something is going on. Let me investigate that further. The people who don't do that, it's available on the tools, including the free tool. People who don't do that typically go, oh, have you heard about this viral video that's doing really well? They now want to make a video about that, but everybody's already made a video about that. So use the tool, use the facilities, use Google Alerts, where you can go into Google, put in the keywords that you're interested in, and whenever those pop up, Google will let you know. Use Google Trends. Understand what's going on in your industry so that you can keep an eye on what's coming out. So again, a quick Google search will find you a social media calendar. That is absolutely step number one. And every single person listening to this should be going out right now and finding a social media calendar and getting it downloaded and printed. And then you start asking yourself, okay, January, what's going on in January? February, what's going on in February? Oh, Valentine's Day. Right. How can I make this about me? Valentine's Day on a cooking channel, I'm going to make cupcakes. Dan put cupcakes into our heads. It's Dan's fault. So we're going to make Valentine's Day cookies. Or if you're in the travel vlogs, most romantic places to go for Valentine's Day. Gadget, as I said, gadgets to buy for Valentine's Day. You're always going to find something to make that topic about you and your channel. And then you carry on doing the same thing for each month of the year. The most important thing is to remember, don't just look at the US or don't just look at Europe. Look at your own country. What's going on there? Because topics that the rest of the world is going to miss is something that's really going to hit in your country. I'm going to use South Africa as an example. We've got something called National Braai Day, which is like National Barbecue Day. Nobody in the world has it, as far as I know. So if I'm in South Africa and all I'm doing is focusing on the US, well, then I'm going to be missing an entire opportunity that's localized to me, and an entire country that's going to be searching for it. I'll miss that because I didn't include that into my calendar. So I always like to get a social media calendar and then overlay that with my local calendar of what's going on in my country, my region, what's exciting for my audience, and then try kind of marry the two of these up. Guys, any other pro tips? Should we be hanging out on Reddit and finding out what's trending there? And should we be using Quora and a lot of those kind of forums to try maybe find out who's talking about what?
Yeah, Alexa kind of mentioned that too. It's, if you can be in the communities for the trends that you follow, they're going to be hyped about stuff. They're going to be talking about stuff. He mentioned in the context of gaming, and yeah, absolutely. There's another thing that you said too that I didn't want to get too far away from, or you didn't quite say it, but you reminded me of something. The thing about Halloween, for example, is that you could jump on that and you could be too late, even if you're way early, because if you think about it, when October starts, people are already kind of thinking about Halloween. So also a pro tip would be thinking about trends in the context of seasons. Some trends like Valentine's Day, I wouldn't say last all of February. I think there's a couple days that people are hyped about Valentine's Day. But when we get into fall, pumpkin spice lattes, spooky season, all this stuff, people are on it for an entire month. So you could actually be thinking prior to October about your Halloween content, for example.
Okay, so there is time relevancy in all of these. Some of them are going to be just on the day, for the day. Some of them are going to be an entire month. Okay, that's a great point. Alexei, you sounded like you were going to jump in here as well.
Yeah, I think since you mentioned that we have some tools here, another tool that we have, vidIQ has, is a competitors tool. And I think that if you don't want to be on Reddit all the time or on social media all the time, you can just, add a bunch of people to your competitors, people from your niche on YouTube, people who are slightly bigger than you or much bigger than you, and just follow those channels, right? Not just by subscribing to them, but by actually tracking how many views per hour the videos are getting. And once you start learning what's like the baseline for those channels, once you see, wow, so this channel typically gets 300 views per hour. Today, this video from this channel is getting 1,000 views per hour. I better investigate this. And I literally, by following this one simple thing, right? It doesn't have to be ultra complicated or rocket sciencey. Like by literally tracking my competitors, I've stumbled upon niches where I found channels where an abandoned channel that hasn't uploaded a video in 4 years has generated 1 million of views on a video because it was on a trending topic, right? So you don't have to even have an active channel to profit from a trend. Like that's how crazy sometimes it can get, right? So competitors tool is another thing you can leverage. And then of course we have most viewed. Most viewed is another tool from the vidIQ. Again, I'm talking here about the tools because this is what I deal with on a daily basis, as a coach and channel auditor. But most viewed, another quick way just to see like what's hot in my niche for any keyword, right? Just type in anything, Fortnite, Minecraft, grilling, barbecue, whatever, right? You will see is this a niche that is thriving right now, or is this something that is kind of dormant, right? Basically means that nothing is trending right now. So this tool doesn't lie to you. It tells you how things are. Just one click away from discovering a bunch of trends in your niche, or not.
or not is also important. Because again, I think that's also an important point. You could think that, wow, I'm super excited to make this video and it's going to do ridiculously well. Everybody wants to know about this, and then it doesn't. Well, how much research have you put into play, right? If you've done the time in the trenches, you've done your research, and then you really understand that nobody really cares about a particular element, but they're super excited about something else. If you spend that time before you pick up that camera, before you write your script, before you actually go out and make that video, you're going to have a far better opportunity to make a much better quality video that the audience is going to love. I was watching a Vid Summit presentation happening today, and Mr. Beast came out with a great little line, which kind of made me think that we all think about the AI as the algorithm, right? And the algorithm and the algorithm. The AI and the algorithm isn't an algorithm. Think of the AI as your audience. YouTube is going to give you an audience that wants to watch your stuff, but it's up to you to make sure that they actually stay and watch your stuff. So if you can take that thinking and take all the events that are coming up and start thinking, how do I craft a message that my audience is going to want to watch, even if it's in February, or even if it's about pumpkin spice latte, how can I make that for my audience today not release it obviously today, but get it ready so that I know I've got 2, 3, 4 videos about that topic, well, then the audience is going to love that as long as you're delivering. So, oh, excuse me, I don't know what's going on today. So that is the way that we kind of think of tentpole events. We think of them as an opportunity that YouTube has told you, make these videos around a specific topic. Well, that is almost a guarantee that you're going to rank much higher in that search because people will be searching for it. It is going to resonate. It is going to pop. You just have to take the first step of actually getting in on those trends. And again, if you do have a bigger channel, if you have been doing this for a while, go look at your own data. What did last year's data tell you when you made a Halloween video or when you made a national barbecue video? Someone in the chat was saying that America's is 4th of July is barbecue day and Saturdays and Mondays and every other day. So if you made videos around that topic a year ago, how do they do? What can you learn from your own analytics that's going to give you that leg up, that head start when you're going to go and make your videos? So those were my kind of final ideas before we jump into the chat about tentpole events. Dan, whilst you're very, very busy and you got your hands full over there, final thoughts about tentpole events?
I think I think a lot of creators at a certain level pay attention to these, but I think it's a shame how many new creators don't really pay much attention. I don't think it's their fault. I think there's a lot to juggle as a new creator. You've got a lot on your mind. You're trying to just make good quality videos, and you're still learning how YouTube works and functions. But the sooner you can get on covering trending topics that relate to your topic on your channel, I think the sooner you could see some pretty strong growth spurts. You're going to try things. Sometimes it's not going to work. Maybe that's on you, or maybe you just kind of got there a little bit too late and everyone's already covering it. But don't be discouraged. Like, keep trying things, jump on any holiday trends you can, and stick to also news and trending topics within your space. Every channel covers something. If you're a mechanic, is there a new product you can cover? If you're a fishing channel, is there a new line of fish bait or something? There's all kinds of stuff. You would just be surprised at how much newsworthy topics you can cover without even being a news channel per se. There's a lot out there, and I think everybody can benefit from covering a trending topic.
Yep, essentially make it your own and how it appeals to your audience. Alexi, final words on tentpole events and doing some search.
Final words, I guess, not to overthink it, right? It's like the success formula is relatively simple. Just get in early, make content on it consistently, and see what happens. Like, throw a bunch of things at the wall, see what sticks, right? If this particular trend didn't work for you, it doesn't mean that the formula doesn't work. Right, there are multiple components, multiple factors to succeed on YouTube. Maybe the video itself wasn't engaging enough for the algorithm or for YouTube to promote it, right? So just keep trying. I've seen plenty of examples how people have succeeded using trending topics. And again, don't forget, anything can be a trend. PewDiePie can be a trend. Mr. Beast can be a trend. Like, this is how other people are launching careers from zero. They're targeting famous names because those names are trending, and they are making content around those names, like PewDiePie's Minecraft map or something like that, and it's blowing up, right? So anything can be a trend. Just keep trying.
Keep trying and see what works, and then just make more of it, essentially. That's the formula to success. People want to see your content. Give that to them. Keep experimenting, and get better and better as you do. The most important thing is deliver value to your audience, because when you do that, regardless of what the tentpole event is, that's always the formula to success, giving value to an audience that wants to keep coming back again and again and again. So, guys, I think we have spoken enough. So should we throw it over to people in the chat and let's get some questions in? So if you're hanging out with us here on the live stream, thank you. What we need to do is start with @vidIQ and then drop us a question. Make it related to the topic, be it search, be it about tentpole events. Maybe you need additional tips or you needed to understand more information. And then we're going to throw up your question on the screen here. We'll try to answer it as best as we can. Try butcher your name as much as humanly possible. Guilty. And then, let's see if we can add value to people that have been hanging out here. So @vidIQ, ask us questions about search, about your channel, or how can we help you. You have our time whilst we still got internet connectivity. So let's do that. Okay, question number 1 that we have here. All right, Dad is smiling because he knows I'm going to throw it over to him because of the, and it is a super chat. So Dan, good luck.
Sataquistlins.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I think I
give
got
that
it.
to you. Well done.
They're just shaking their head right now. How do I grow my channel organically? My content is high quality, yet I'm unable to convert people to subscribing from Google Ads. Where am I going wrong?
Okay. Well, Google Ads is one place where you're going wrong. Why are you using Google Ads? Because you can't do organically and Google Ads together because the two terms just basically don't intermix. Google Ads is a strategy that a lot of people do use, and then they don't see good success because they might see a lot of views on a video, but guess what you need to look at is your retention graph. Because what you will typically find is when you buy Google Ads, advertising your channel, your next video that's coming up, people will click onto that, stay for a couple of seconds, and then leave. And what message does that send YouTube? That you just don't have enough value in this video for YouTube to promote you. My big advice for channels, especially if they are starting out, and I don't know the size of your channel, and we haven't seen your channel, obviously, the big advice is don't use those methods. What you want is good data, and you're only going to get good data if you don't go off platform, if you don't go use external sources. Focus on YouTube for YouTube. Start making content, maybe make 3 or 4 different topics within a certain niche, and then see which one takes off a little bit more than the others. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. It's just 2 or 3 of them are going to do better than the others. Make 2 or 3 more videos on those topics. Are they still getting views? Are your audience liking what you're doing? And then you start building. Remember, when you use Google Ads, essentially you're saying to someone, I know you want to watch this video, but come and watch mine instead. Well, that's a little bit of a hard sale until you've got some traction. So I always say, don't use external forces like this. Start focusing on being organic. Start getting those real data into your channel so that you can make data-driven decisions. Because right now, what's messing you up is the fact that you're getting this weird data from Google Ads. Just my final thought. Alexi, go for it.
Yeah, I think also in terms of growing organically and getting subs from organic traffic, you have to have a content strategy. You can't expect people to watch one video on your channel and then subscribe. Like that happens sometimes, but rarely. What needs to happen is people have to watch 4 videos on average, maybe even more, to warm up to your content, maybe even to your personality, if it's a personality-driven channel, right? And then they will make this decision whether they subscribe or not. Sometimes it takes 7 videos for people to subscribe, from 4 to 7 videos, right? So it's gonna be a journey for the viewer. Like they stumble upon your video the first time, they stumble upon the second one again, and ideally they don't have to stumble because everything is packaged into a playlist or some kind of a series, right? And this is how you warm up the audience and they click that subscribe button. So that's the first thing. The thing about Google Ads, again, Liran said at 100%, like organic and Google Ads, opposites, right? At the same time, yes, there is a strategy where you can use Google Ads and then to earn so-called, well, they are called earned views and earned subscribers. So people enjoy your first video that you promote through Google Ads, but then they start checking your content, your other content that you're not advertising on your channel. And hey, if they like it, then you get a view, right? Maybe even a sub. But then again, it all depends on how you package your channel. Liran constantly keeps telling you guys, you have to have a nice banner, a clear value proposition. So imagine you're advertising your video through Google Ads, people click on it, watch it, all right, the video is fine. So the person thinks to himself or to herself, let me check out this guy, let me hit his channel. He clicks on your channel, there's no banner, there is no structure to the channel, no playlist, no channel trailer, nothing, right? How are they gonna, like, not that many people will make the effort, make that extra click on your videos and start checking the videos manually, right? So you have to make it easy for the viewer to connect and to watch more of your content. If you do that, you can grow from Google Ads as well. But if you're not experienced with content and if you can't get those retention graphs right, well, then even Google Ads won't help.
Right. Good one, actually. So Berdalu says, at vidIQ, what are some trending short topics? Dan, what have you seen out there?
Yeah, so I was looking at that. So I'm assuming they mean for YouTube Shorts. What?
Yeah,
I'm going to take that question as what should I be making shorts about? Because maybe it's partially because I don't spend a whole lot of time on the YouTube app. I'm on desktop a little bit more, but I don't necessarily see a lot of like trending shorts topics. It's hard. There's not a lot of data yet, but I will say that I watched a couple of pet videos, and then all of a sudden my shorts recommendations, exclusively my shorts recommendations, were basically all pet videos. People with their pets learning how they're pushing buttons to speak and all kinds of stuff. So pets. But honestly, I would say that whatever it is you do on your channel, it's just time to test stuff. Honestly,
Right.
you can a trending topic like we talked about here on the show was, let's say, Thanksgiving's coming up. So if you're a gaming channel, is there anything you can do around Thanksgiving? Because that is a trending topic. And if you make it a short and people happen to see that when they're already thinking Thanksgiving-y thoughts, they might click on it.
Yeah, I think the important thing on that I've seen is that it's very much about you as the creator and what kind of stuff that you're into, and based on your trends and your searchability, it tries to kind of recommend it. Think of the TikTok algorithm. So whatever you're into, if you start liking more certain type of content, it's going to feed that to you more. So there isn't really a trending topic page, but I will say that I've seen 90% of it has been more entertainment, less how-tos. So if that gives you some idea. All right, let's move on to the next one. Freeze and copyright-free music. I wonder what they do. How can I be in trend if I throw out music? Alexi, do you want to try take that one?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, right? I mean, if you are just an artist, independent artist, trying to get traction there, it's going to be tough, right? So you have to build up your social media presence, especially for music. You have to kind of leverage Instagram and other sources, like anything really, to get out there. And also feel free to connect with other creators, right? So if, let's say, you are producing instrumental music, there are plenty of channels who need music for their vlogs, for their compilations, for gaming videos, etc. Like, tell them, hey guys, so I'm doing this. I have a music channel. I'm a producer. Feel free to use my music, right, in your videos. I will never copyright strike you, and just include the link to the video in your videos. And people, like, I've asked people to do this. I've asked channels with 500,000 subscribers to do this, and I got an answer back, and the guy told me, yeah, of course, just send me the music, right? So it does work. You just have to reach out to people.
Yeah, collaboration is a big one on this one.
Make sure it's your music too.
Yes, last thing you need is a copyright strike. In fact, I've got an entire podcast coming up just about music, royalty-free music, copyright claims-free music, which is a term nobody uses. It's a whole bunch of stuff, so definitely stay tuned, because we have seen horrible, horrible things happen when people say, it's okay, just use my music. Then they blow up, or they get signed to a distributor, and guess what? Copyright strikes against your channel. So that is coming up. A shameless plug for TubeTalk, another episode in the future.
All right. Is it fair to say, before you go on, like, there's really no such thing as copyright-free music? Everything has a copyright, but what you're doing is giving them a license.
Correct.
Yeah,
and we get really deep into kind of what that actually means, because a lot of stuff came from the TV era. And remember, there's something like a claims-free, which basically, I don't want to spoil it. It goes deep. But I think it's very important, because a lot of us are maybe a little bit confused about what is available, isn't available. What irritates me is that our lovely friends at YouTube had a great site. You can go to youtube.com music_policies, and you can type in any track, and it will tell you if you're allowed to use it or not. That has been removed for some bizarre reason. Okay. So yeah, that's why we delve deep into that topic. So that's coming up. So subscribe to vidIQ and subscribe to TubeTalk. That's what I'm saying. All right, the Elliott family of 7. Oh, cool. What Thanksgiving-related content ideas for a family channel? I'll try to take that one for a bit. Easy. So Thanksgiving, you can do meal prep. You can do games nights. You can do being safe during COVID. How do you do Thanksgiving with a family, an extended family? So think about what you currently do on your channel. So, and again, I don't know your channel, but it's what do you do on your channel, and how can you funnel it towards a Thanksgiving theme? Maybe one of the kids is in charge of making breakfast, the other one's in charge of lunch, the other one's in charge of dinner. And then what comes up? Who can make the best sauce? Make a competition, make some games out of it. There is so much you can do on a family channel. You have the best opportunity, because you're a family first, and then all these trends you can just tap into. So definitely, absolutely go do that. Go look at other big family channels. Go see what they're doing and what they did last year. And then will that strike some ideas or some inspiration? A great thing to do collaborations. Maybe you start something on your channel, but the results lands up on the other family's channel. And then you start working together. Great. You have so much opportunities, and just go and see what the other family channels are doing. The one that I really like, good friends, is the Ohana Adventure. Go look at their channel and see what they've done, and maybe grab some ideas from them. Don't tell them I told you that, though.
So, something topical. A lot of people right now might be in the position that I find myself in, where I have not needed to prepare an entire Thanksgiving meal for myself, but I'm not seeing family this year, and I feel like a lot of people are probably doing remote Thanksgivings. So there's a lot of opportunities here for anyone to do, who does cooking style videos or anything, to say how to prepare your first Thanksgiving turkey. I would lead with that too. Your first Thanksgiving stuffing, whatever. There's a lot of opportunities there. I'm going to have to be on YouTube the entire day if I want to make a proper Thanksgiving meal. Yeah, it's just the two of us here, so I don't have to go that crazy, but I want to make some stuff. It's Thanksgiving, and I'm not going to be having people cook for me this time.
Yeah, 2 gadgets Dan must have for Thanksgiving to make it extra special. Anything, just to get Dan to watch your videos, people. All right. TC Films, do you have any recommendation for sports channel? Alexi?
Yeah, for sports, look, I think every match day is basically a tentpole event, or could be made as such, right? So I've seen channels succeed just speculating about the match outcome, about the roster before the game, just giving their thoughts there. Then during the game, they watch the match on YouTube. They don't show the footage, but they react live, right? So that's a live stream opportunity there. And then after the game, they again say, wow, this player was so bad. He needs to be cut from the team. Something controversial to talk about, right? And there you go. You have 3 videos, before, during, and after.
Fire the coach.
Copyright material right there. So if you don't stream the game on your channel, because they will come after you. So just be very, very, very careful in that. All right. Mr. Producer, do we have time for 2 more questions that you can throw up on our screen here? Has anybody else asked anything that's exciting? I saw another super chat coming in. Okay, question. Torch Brenner. Question, how many days in advance should one post for a tentpole event? I posted one 5 days ahead of the peak interest, and it did well. There's your answer. It really does depend on your audience. It does depend on your channel. It does depend on the event itself. As Dan said earlier, pumpkin spice lattes in the US is a big thing. Pumpkin spice everything, I suppose, is a big thing. During what, Dan, would you say this entire month?
Between the beginning of October and the end of November, maybe even the end of December. I don't know. I mean, I would drink it in July, but that's just me. But yeah, think about the event itself. Is it a season? Is it not just like one day? Because Halloween is one day, but people are decorating their houses long before that.
Yep, good pull. Okay, so it all depends on the event. It depends on the seasonality of it, and it also depends on your audience. Like, what is their appetite for this content? If you make a 10 tips to decorate your house for Halloween, and nobody really cares because you're actually a travel channel, okay, then adjust the message. How to make Halloween extra special when you're on the road. I don't know, something like how to scare the next hotel clerk when you walk in with your Halloween costume. No, that kind of idea. See what it does. Okay. Right. Music is beautiful. Super chat says, when should I quit YouTube? Okay, that's a bit harsh. I'll give it a bash. The question is why. So if you've lost your passion, you've lost the will to make YouTube videos, you have a choice. You can say, okay, I'm giving everything up and then I'm done for it. Or you can say, you know what, I need to refocus. I'm just not loving this anymore. I need to get a different perspective on my channel. I need to find my passion again. Take a break. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. If your head isn't in the game, take a break and then come back and say, okay, I've taken this break. I've now realized I was too busy focusing on whatever it was that I was focusing on, not loving this anymore, super passionate about this thing. I'm now going to start and pivoting my content to this, and then start up again. And then you'll find that you start loving what you're doing again. A lot of people that quit YouTube are people that got themselves into this hamster wheel. Make video, upload video, don't see results. Make video, upload video, don't see results. I've had enough. And I don't blame you. And by the way, it's perfectly okay to be not a YouTuber. There is nothing saying that absolutely everybody needs to be on YouTube. If you take a break and you decide, you know what, I've never been happier not having to think about my channel, that's perfectly fine too. It's got to be right for you. You got to have that personality. You got to have that drive. And if you don't, and you want to focus that energy on something else because this is getting in the way, go for it. So when should I quit YouTube? You'll know when the time is right to quit, but you also know when it's time to maybe just take a break. Maybe you pick up the camera again in February or in January next year, and you just take the next 2 or 3 months just to kind of get your mind back in order and see what you're really passionate about. And if you find like you're not missing YouTube, that's cool. A lot of big creators take breaks. A lot of small creators take break, and their channel just carries on working until they pretty much have just had enough and don't really have any urge to come back. And that's perfectly fine too. Anything else to add, guys, on that?
No, that was perfect.
Yeah, I think as someone who actually took a break from YouTube, I can attest to what Liron said. And again, you don't have to quit. Just take a break if you feel like it. And the breaks, I mean, a 1-year break is a legitimate break. Like if you've been inactive for a year, it doesn't have to be that you've quit, right? So take your time, get some inspiration, get some fresh input, outlook on things. For me, literally, the best ideas I came up with were after I took a break, actually. So, taking a break is healthy sometimes.
I mean, that's why people take vacations. A lot of jobs offer paid vacations for that very reason. They don't want their staff to burn out. And it's the same on YouTube. YouTube's a lot of work, and you don't want to burn out. Mental health is of paramount importance when it comes to anything creative, anything at all. But with creativity, I found that taking breaks once in a while never hurts.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, 2 more questions. So Brick Wall Productions says, the videos I make can take a long time. Stop motion animation. Yeah, that definitely takes time. How can I keep active without having to rush the videos?
I have a couple general tips here. We see a lot of stop motion Lego channels actually, and I have to say I really like your avatar a lot. I love that you added a glow effect to the lightsaber. That's really cool. That's an aside though. The stop motion game is, very tedious, very long. The first video I ever made as a kid was like a stop motion Lego production. It's kind of how I got the itch to make videos. If you have to do that as your channel, if you're making regular content that way, don't rush your videos. I would recommend doing perhaps some live streams, perhaps some Q&A in those live streams. You have an audience, you're starting to grow, you're starting to engage that audience. You could even do a behind the scenes live stream and show the whole process behind making one of these videos. I think for art channels in particular, my advice I always find myself giving is do anything behind the scenes that you can show, even in another video or a stream or whatever, because if you don't want to take away focus from the project at hand, but you want to get some content on your channel, that seems to me some easy low-hanging fruit. But I would love to hear other suggestions.
Yeah, something that I've seen that works really, really well is Edit With Me. So you almost do a live stream where you're editing. So it's a real edit of something that's coming up. But whilst you're editing, you're live streaming the process, and you're taking a break from the edit, and you're going to the chat, and you're having a chat with people, and you're getting something to drink, and you're showing them a new thing. Maybe you're trying something that's not really working. Show it to the community whilst you're live streaming that, and say, hey, I'm trying this. What do you guys think? Thumbs up or thumbs down? And then get that engagement going. The idea is to keep momentum and to keep things going. And as I said before, and if you need to take a break from editing and from kind of, if your brain's not in it and you're just getting frustrated, get up, walk away, not whilst you're live streaming, but get up, walk away, take a break, come back refreshed, and then start hitting it again. Stop motion will take a ridiculously long period of time. There are no shortcuts. There are some good tools, but there are no real shortcuts to really good quality animation. You've picked a great topic. You're just going to have to put in a lot of effort to make that go.
I have a very, very specific example for you too before we move on. Speed build of the set you're about to use on your next production. And you can even title the speed build. Let's say it's the Millennium Falcon. You're trying to build the interior of that. Don't necessarily say speed build of the set of my next production. The title might be like building the Millennium Falcon interior speed build. And you literally build it with a camera on it and you speed it up, and there's a video right there. The end.
Okay. The end. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Right, Monster Fanny Tubi. Okay. My question is, how do you start trending games to gain views and popularity? Dan, I'm assuming this one is for you.
Alexi knows a ton about games.
Oh, he's trying to palm that off. That's
I pawned it off because I just spent like 20 minutes talking.
Okay, Alexi, you can take this one.
All right, so we are talking about trending games to gain views and popularity. I mean, funny moments works almost always, right? Whether it's Among Us funny moments, Fall Guys funny moments, Roblox funny moments. If you're one of the first channels to do a funny moments thing, I've seen channels literally get 150,000 subscribers within 2 months just because they were the first channel to do videos on that topic. So this would be, I guess, the shortcut. And if you don't want to do funny moments, again, if you know, like literally a tentpole event that's coming up is Cyberpunk 2077, right? So do as many speculation videos as possible, talk about the features that will be in the game, mechanics that will be in the game, mechanics that were cut from the game, complain about that they delayed the release for another month, even though the game has achieved gold status, etc., etc. So there are plenty of ways to find, trending topics in the gaming niche.
Okay, there we go. So Dan, you got off the hook for that one because Alexi just answered it perfectly. Okay, one more super chat has come in. Right, my page is about photography. Should I stop using Google Ads completely to get subs? Some say use Google Ads to grow, and you advise otherwise. Yeah. Okay, so just want to be let's go back and be clear on the messaging gap. You need to understand why you're on YouTube. If you're trying to grow a business and you have a photography studio and you're trying to get clients and you're trying to show your latest work, use Google Ads, no problem, because it's an ad for your business. If, on the other hand, you're trying to be a content creator, you're trying to grow an audience, you're trying to give them tips and tricks, you're trying to tell about the latest camera gear, you want to be the next Peter McKinnon, well, then your ads isn't really a good strategy because your data is going to be all, I'm going to use the word corrupt. In other words, it didn't come organically straight from YouTube, which makes it very, very difficult to make decisions. What worked, what didn't? Well, on this particular video, it's getting 10,000 views, but you also put $1,000 of ads into that. So is this data even relevant? Now, compared to another video, which you put no money towards, but it got 500 views or 1,000 views. Well, how do I know which is better? How do I know what to focus on? Maybe my tips and tricks video did really well, 1,000 views on my channel. That's amazing with 0 ad spend. But now in your mind, you're going to say, well, this first video got 10,000 views. That must be better. But that video, you put ads behind it. So in order to get it to that level, what I always advise is don't think of ads as a way to get views and subscribers. Think of ads as ads to sell a service or sell a product. And if that's your mission, go big. Absolutely, perfectly fine. If your mission is to grow your community and grow your audience, ads are certainly not somewhere I would actually spend time or money into that. I would invest in, vidIQ, obviously, that's just a given. I would invest in tools. I would invest in editing. I would invest in thumbnails. I would invest my time there because those are the fundamentals of building a YouTube channel and therefore building a community. And that is how you grow on YouTube. So just my final words on this. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. It was another live vidIQ fireside chat on TubeTalk Live. If you're still hanging out with us here, don't forget to find TubeTalk in your favorite podcast application and smash that subscribe button or the button below here that you can just basically subscribe to YouTube. So everybody, let's point channel where they can subscribe to the vidIQ channel. As we awkwardly leave down on the screen, as we awkwardly say goodbye to everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out with us. Dan, take us out of here.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to join us in our Discord server, vidiq.com/Discord, because the conversation might be over on this space, but we're actually a whole bunch of creators are over in the Discord. That's why this is behind me, by the way, because there's creators all over the world. I've been asked about this before. That's totally deliberate. It's not. I found it at the store and I thought it looked fine. But it's relevant because there's creators all over the world and they are in our Discord. and they're just like you, and they're not advertising their videos. They're sharing tips. They're sharing tricks. And it's awesome. On Monday, I'll be live on Twitch playing Minecraft. Should I just keep advertising things till I get cut off? I'll be live on Twitch. I'll be playing some Minecraft in hardcore mode, and I'll be answering your creator questions. It's a fantastic time. vidIQ has a Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/vidIQ official, but there's an underscore in the middle. Someone stole our name, and it's kind of a drag. But with vidIQ official, that's a channel. Maybe it's even linked in this very description. So if you go down below, and as you're subscribing, check the description, and you might see that Twitch channel.
All right, should we give him a break? Okay, I think we're good. Let's all get back on screen and just wave goodbye to the remaining people awkwardly, like the Queen does. And then just make sure you smash the thumbs up button on your way out. Make the Queen wave. Okay, dear producer, we're done.